this one and murder that one. Talking all that bullshit. I'ma put it to you like this, yo.
This is for the nerds, this is for the brainiacs, this what we deserve. Go ahead and play it back, you ain't gonna touch me, you not gonna do nothing, you are not above me. I bet you wish you was me, I know it, I know.
And welcome back to another special episode of the Only Friends podcast. Well, you know, it's me and my only friends, which includes, but is not limited to, the Grok talking phenomenon. Guapo,
What's going on?
what was your conversation with Grok this morning?
It was cool. I was driving into work and I actually did need some actual information. I can't remember what it was, but then I decided to start pushing the boundaries and I started asking Grok how to perform cunnilingus. And she was very descriptive.
She has a voice?
Yeah. She does.
Yeah, I listened to these idiots talk to her for about 30 minutes earlier.
All right, I need to know how to unlock these powers. I too have Grok available to me.
It's on the app. Do you have the app?
No.
Or are you just using it through Twitter?
Oh, well, I'm looking at it on Twitter. There's an actual Grok app?
Yeah.
Okay, because I heard Elon talking about like some updates or some shit where you can like have it troll you. I saw him playing with it on Rogan.
Okay.
I assume that this is all through the app.
I would assume.
So there's like an actual Grok app.
There's an app, and then it has a bunch of features where you can talk to it, but then there's like you can pay a subscription and unlock like other features.
Why Grok? Why is this the?
Apparently, it's the best out of all the AIs. I don't know who determines this.
Yeah.
There's a list of like what is the best AIs, and apparently it's like number one right now or close to number one. Or I think there's a couple that already passed ChatGPT, which is
I can't remember which one is linked to my Samsung, but I don't know if you saw that commercial where people just have like full-on conversations.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I was doing this morning on the way in.
Okay,
like, just back and forth. Like, told her about my surgery. She was asking about it, and like, you know, telling me that the biopsy is gonna go fine.
Guapo's 100% gonna fall in love with his AI.
Yeah,
it's not her situation.
Yeah, you should watch the movie Her.
It's a great movie.
Preventative measures
very good.
Need to be taken. That's abundantly clear.
And this is just the beginning stages, boys. I mean, 5 years from now,
She's going to be your wife.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Miss Gonzalez might be out there.
You should just ask her to marry you now before, you know, somebody else gets in there.
That's true.
If it's like the movie Her, then she's probably, you know, very polyamorous.
Yeah.
Oh, so she'd probably be a great poker player too then.
Because she's polyamorous?
Yeah, isn't that like the thing in the poker world?
It does seem to be more common.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to paint with broad strokes, but it seems like a lot of folks are into that.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Is that something you'd be into, Matt?
Well,
you were about to say no.
I was about to say no because I was thinking like if I care deeply for somebody, I would prefer it to be monogamous, but I don't know what that feels like. So I feel like I could dabble. You know,
Oh, God.
See what's going on. Cast a wide net.
Yeah, you're polyamorous until it's not convenient anymore.
Yeah, excellent. Well said, Brian.
Thank you.
Very well said. We have a fun show today. We're gonna go over the announcement for WSOP Circuit Free Roll Tournament Champions coming back to Commerce. We're also going to, you know, talk a little bit of non-poker stuff, poker adjacent stuff, if you will. There was a fight brewing. But, you know, we would be remiss if we didn't start this with a smidge of sports ball, given that today is the tip-off for March Madness. And I have to tell you, I am very saddened at how little I pay attention to this stuff now.
Same.
It's such a huge betting opportunity. Like, as somebody who's in the space of gambling, you would think that March Madness would be something you look forward to every year. I look forward to the Super Bowl every year.
Yeah.
I look forward to the idea of March Madness every year. But then it comes Like we talked on Monday, I was like, maybe we'll fill out like a team bracket.
Yeah, we didn't do anything. I didn't fill out any brackets. I haven't filled out brackets in years. I don't get hyped for it anymore either. I don't know why.
It's interesting. It brings a lot of poker into town. That's the one thing about it.
That is great.
Yeah.
For sure.
I have a game lined up today.
Let's
let me
go.
tell you.
Oh yeah.
We're very excited. I came back early from my trip. I talked to you guys. I was like, man, the conditions are great. I haven't been in conditions this good in 4 years of snowboarding. Like, just got dumped on 2 or 3 days ago. Now it's 45 degrees and sunny every single day.
Yeah, your videos in your story looked awesome there. Was I mistaken? It looked like every video it was just you just chilling down the hill, and while everyone's zooming past you.
You're sadly mistaken, Brian.
No, you're not mistaken.
I don't know.
That's how it went.
That's what it seemed like to me. It looked
That's
like
how it went.
I thought maybe you were like a little, gun shy after you almost got killed the last time. You were out there.
Quite the opposite. I was absolutely ripping it. I'll send Guapo some video footage.
Okay.
Of me ripping it.
Okay.
Maybe even catch a little bit of air here.
I didn't want to,
distort
what actually happened up there in Tahoe.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, I understand.
It's just from, the eye test is what I saw.
I get it.
Yeah.
Hey, that's all we can really go by in this instance.
Right.
To be honest, it is one of those things where unless you have somebody who's very skilled filming you that can like keep speed with you.
The video I was thinking of was when you had the highway to the danger zone playing in the background.
Yeah, that was a black. That was a black I was going down.
Oh, I don't know what a black or a blue or a green is.
Well, it's different grades.
Okay, but how am I supposed to know? Oh, look at that. Oh, that's a black.
No, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that it was a black.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See, look at that.
Is that you?
Zoom in, Pat. Yeah, that's fucking me. The man in black, baby.
Okay.
So I figured you just took this and that's somebody else. How am I supposed to know that's you?
Why would I take the video of somebody else?
Because you took a lot of videos of other people.
I didn't post any videos of other people.
You took videos.
I took a video of the lake.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at me. Just ripping it. Just a shadow out there.
The lake is so beautiful.
I will say it doesn't translate all that well into video. I should have sent you one without the sound. Jesus Christ.
Sounds windy. A little windy out there, huh, Berk?
It was very windy. So this is a black.
Okay, see, I thought that was somebody else zooming past you. I thought you were filming.
No.
Okay, well, that's what I just assumed. It was your camera, you filming. I didn't know that was actually
the person filming was going very slow.
There you go.
Okay. Even that, like the speed doesn't really translate all that well. Like if somebody's like side by side to you, you'll be able to see it very well. Every time I watch myself on film, I'm just like, God, we go so slow. I mean, like, what a crawl down the mountain. But when you're out there, it doesn't feel that way at all.
No.
It feels like out of control.
Yeah. I've only been snowboarding a handful of times, and I don't enjoy myself just because I keep thinking about, man, if I break my wrist, or
I'm shocked.
or if I hurt my ankle.
You're kind of a nervous Nelly.
Like, how the fuck am I going to be able to work? Like,
yeah.
No, you don't think of the worst things possible.
No,
you never do.
I for one am completely shocked that is your experience.
No.
Look, it's hard for me to have a good time, man. It's like,
I think he has a royal flush. Oh, maybe just a straight flush.
Berkey, do you want to explain why you snap called with a straight? They were backdoor diamonds that came.
All right, I get it. You guys win.
We got to get you out there, man. You got, we're living to die.
Yeah.
You understand? We're dying to live.
True.
I think that's a Tupac lyric. But yeah, so anyway, everybody stayed one more day. I cut my trip a day short because we have some gambling to do. And March Madness is the occasion. Everybody's in town. Sounds like the games are going to be popping off all weekend long. I got very excited for March Madness like we did in high. You know what I think it is? In high school, it represented an opportunity not only to gamble, but like to hit a lottery, right? Because sure, it's you're gambling, but you're gambling within the context of a contest. So you feel like you have some element of control.
Right.
Like you were the one who made those picks. And it was also like passed down, like Bowser's in health class,
right?
Passing out brackets, and it's like for free, but like we got a bump on our fucking grade if we nail the bracket. You know what I mean? Like we're wagering real stakes out here. And I think now that we're older, it's not as much fun because either you do it for an amount of money that doesn't matter. Like if we did it with the Vegas chat group for $5 a pop, like we do the Super Bowl squares. I never care about the squares because I'm doing a $5,000 square at Bellagio. So how could I possibly care about a $5 square?
We should have put a 2K bracket in Reese's.
That's it. Well, that's the flip side of it. You can't do a 2K bracket in a group like that because 20% is super sharp.
It's true.
You know, you're just drawing fucking stone dead, and when you're aware of that, you don't want to be a part of it anymore.
Right.
We should have just bought some of
where the
God's
squares
brackets.
is completely random.
Yeah. So it's like what you want is a group like our Vegas group that will play for high stakes. You know, you want to be able to find like some sort of sweet spot, like you know, $500 bracket with like your high school friends.
You could have AI generate brackets for you guys, and then you just pick them randomly, and then gamble on it.
Would that feel the same to you?
I don't know, but I mean,
I feel like it's no.
You want to fill out your own bracket.
It's not just.
Obviously,
It's not
but
just
I'm
the
saying
wanting
if you
to
wanted
fill it
gamble
out
for high stakes and it be neutral EV.
It's no. You want to fill it out for two very specific emotional reasons. One, you want to take way too much credit when you nail a fucking upset, and two, you want to say I almost picked that one whenever they run to the Sweet 16.
Right.
Like, I almost had Iona in the first round over. I definitely would have had them go this far. You know what I mean?
I wonder how much of an edge sharp like people have on filling out brackets, because I feel like it's just there's so much chaos going on that it kind of like
I would say
levels the playing field.
Somewhat. It's high variance, but I would imagine that they're really good with how they round out the end of the bracket. Like, I would assume that a lot of the quote unquote edge is made from the Sweet 16 on. So on average, I would just imagine that like really sharp people will carry forward way more Sweet 16 teams. They're way better at paring that down to the Elite Eight, Final Four, etc. But even when I used to get super excited for March Madness and the brackets, I was done by the Sweet 16 if my bracket wasn't in contention.
Yeah, because there's nothing to root for.
Yeah, you almost like want to like recreate the pool.
I think they do like Sweet 16 brackets.
I'm sure they do. Yeah. But that's got to be a lot easier.
I mean, the fun part it really is the upsets that are possible early on.
Right?
Like it's the 16.
I actually just looked up if a
15
16 seed has ever beat a number one seed.
It just happened.
It happened twice apparently.
Yeah.
Fairleigh Dickinson University.
Yeah. Good job, Connor.
Actually?
Yeah.
Oh, that was what, 3 or 4 years ago?
Maybe 2.
Yeah, I know it happened twice within like the last 5 or 6 years, but it had never
happened before.
Never happened prior.
And in 2018, UMBC beat Virginia.
Right. There you
Bums. Go. That's when Berkey was talking about Virginia being good.
No. They were 1 seed in my defense. I totally forgot UConn won back-to-back the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Just completely glossed over that aspect of it. My monitor is down for what it's worth.
Gotcha, Pappy.
I don't know what they are this year. They are an 8 seed, 9 seed?
Who?
8 seed this year.
UConn?
Yeah, playing Oklahoma to start.
Yeah, I saw. This is how I get briefed. Is Pat McAfee has NCAA coaches on the 3 days leading up to March Madness. So I saw Patino, who is at St. John's. They won the Big East
They're about
this year.
to fuck people up.
Yeah,
that's my sleeper.
Calipari. The usual Italians. They all just do their media row.
Calipari is at Arkansas now, right?
Yeah.
They're also about to fuck somebody up today. They're playing.
I think they're in 8-9.
Kansas. They're playing Kansas.
Yeah.
I got them winning.
All right. Well, since we're talking about gambling and March Madness, let's talk about something else. Adjacent. Over the weekend, no, not over the weekend. I guess over the last couple of days.
Felt like a weekend.
It did feel like
we were off yesterday.
It does feel like Monday. Yeah. Sean Perry's loudmouth.
This fucking idiot
got him in the ring. I gotta tell you, man. Like, I first watched his clip, which we're gonna roll for you shortly, and I was like, wow, he really did, really carry this fight. But with the caveat that he's 6'3", this guy's 5'11", he's like 225, 230. This guy's like $180. It's like 5 inches and 50 pounds means a lot
for sure
in a contact sport. Then I watched the other guy. He put out his version of it. And I got to tell you, man, this whole thing is just an absolute shit show.
Absolute joke.
We'll watch. What the fuck is Des Bryant doing here?
I don't fucking know. He must be bored as fuck.
Somebody needs to get in his ear and
Somebody's
be
got
like,
to be paying him or something.
yeah, maybe, but like someone's got to get in his ear and be like, buddy, this is not a good look.
Can someone tell me who Des Bryant is, please?
Oh my gosh.
Turn off your mic.
Wide receiver for the Cowboys.
All right, thank you.
During the Romo era.
What the fuck going on, bro?
Man.
What's up with these Cowboys, bro? Hold on, give me that too. Get him done! Get him done! Get him done! Let's go! Too easy. Too easy, pussy.
You can get out of this. I don't want to see it anymore.
This is the most depressing thing I've ever seen in my life.
I mean, all right. So the reason I brought this up is not because I want to talk about Sean Perry. I really don't. But I think that there's been a lot of situations where, specifically in our community, beef has begun, and everybody's like, "You guys should fight. You guys should fight. You guys." This is what two grown men who don't know how to fight look like when they fight.
Fucking idiots.
What do you think?
Yeah, how'd you score that one, Guap?
Yeah, go up.
I mean, a lot of winging and swinging, and not a lot of technique behind what was shown there.
If you want, you can roll the B-roll of the other guy's clip. Just run it muted. It's really not.
I mean, like the punches are being thrown from their hip, which is like a big no-no.
Well, yeah, that's how you get lit up. You leave yourself wide open. But like, these guys don't know. They don't know. Like, you know, they're pushing and shoving. It looks like two kindergarten kids going at it.
Yeah.
Just wailing, man. Just swinging from the fucking downtown.
Yeah, and this is what most bar fights look like as well.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
it's just a lot of just swinging really hard, and then like literally 20 seconds later, they're both just winded.
Right. And like Sean, it does seem like Sean pushed a lot, which is obviously going to go in his favor.
Yeah, he's got the wingspan.
So much bigger.
Yeah.
6'3", 230. Who knows? I think Mazi said he was like 5'11" or something. I don't even know who these fucking people are. They're all over my goddamn timeline.
I'm about to delete.
I can't make them go away. People are like, "Oh, just click not interested." It's like, yeah, I have, man.
1,000 times.
Like I have. They're like, stop liking their stuff. You like? Do you think I put a fucking heart on any of this shit?
I've blocked them all. Fucking muted.
Yeah.
Nothing works.
Nothing. Des Bryant's all over my fucking timeline now. I hate the Cowboys.
I hate them.
Hate the Cowboys. Alfie, all of them. I muted every motherfucking one of them. They still fight. Some new guy just shows up every single day.
So
It's
fucking
like,
tilted.
Who the fuck is Boomer Better 6'9"?
Maybe you should ask Grok how to get it off.
I should. Fucking
That
Grok,
would be my only
please clean up.
conversation.
Hey Grok, can you clean up my For You?
Yeah.
No, this is a dystopia.
What tilts me is what, like, not to go on a tangent here. What grinds my gears? If you're on a list,
Yeah.
like if you're like looking through one of your lists, and then you like get out of the app, go to somewhere else, and then come back to the app, it just goes right back to the For You.
Oh yeah.
Like, and there's no way to change that. There's not
No.
a setting. It's just always taking you back to For You, which is just obviously a disaster.
I want to know how much we're on other people's For You. Like, do they just shill the shit out of OnlyFriends podcast? You know, like, is there anybody who's like, God, I'm so fucking sick and tired of seeing this OnlyFriends pod account?
No way.
I mean, if we started like a fight in the middle of it, maybe.
No way. We're definitely just overshadowed by
Maybe
sports.
we need
touts.
to tweet more. Try to pick more fights.
You won't have any problems with that, my friend.
To get that footage.
If we had like an OnlyFans girl on OnlyFriends,
Right.
then we would be all over.
We did that once.
We did?
Well, not exactly, but sort of.
Yeah.
OnlyFans adjacent.
Yeah.
I mean, she's on OnlyFans now.
Connie was a big fan of that show.
Yeah, big fan. We
yes,
might have
I
launched her OnlyFans career.
Right.
She became an OnlyFans girl after the fact.
I'm not going to comment.
No?
Nope.
He's not taking the bait.
Good boy. Lift heavy, pet dogs.
That's a great shirt.
Great shirt.
Instagram?
I did not buy this. This was a gift.
Oh, nice. That's a good gift for you.
I'm pretty sure it was Christmas, but I'm not positive.
That's
Might
a
have been
great
birthday
gift.
one.
I mean, it really describes your life.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
They're
If,
good puppies.
Yeah, if you could put Bluff River in there somewhere. Pencil
That's
that one
a shirt
in.
I could get behind.
You're goddamn right. All right, shifting gears into poker a little bit in our main story. There was a big announcement, not that big, we knew it was coming, launching the WSOP Circuit Tournament of Champions schedule. Now, the big notable difference that I saw when I looked through this is the $1 million guarantee is still the same on the free roll. However, the free roll is much, much earlier in the scheduling this year. So I believe, if I'm not mistaken, last year they did it as the final event.
That is correct.
So that you could play the entire schedule
And have a chance
at
to get in.
Commerce and have a chance to get in, really incentivize people. They have a beefy schedule here. It's the 9th to the 24th, so it's a 2-week-long series. But they threw the Tournament of Champions in there May 15th to the 17th. So roughly at the halfway point, it also overlaps the circuit main event, which is a $2 million guarantee. So it looks as though if you make day 2 of the TOC, you're going to miss at least some part of the circuit main event. And if you final table the TOC, I would assume that you're going to miss the WSOP circuit main event altogether.
That sounds really stupid.
Very, very strange. I mean, they obviously did this for a reason, I would think. But
Oh, no.
If I had to venture a guess, it's 100% production. If I had to guess, there's something about production. Because my best guess is that they want to televise the TOC and they want to televise the main event.
And now they have the production there. And
Correct.
They do it all like in the
TOC ends on the
they
17th.
overlap, yeah.
Now you pick up like
right.
the final table.
So there's
of,
not like a lag,
Exactly.
like a lapse in time between.
Exactly. But you could have
yeah.
also just did those events in the inverse.
Right.
Maybe they couldn't justify bringing production out for the main. I don't know. We speculated whether or not it would even be at Commerce with the latest acquisition of HCL, due to the fact that obviously, what's the name of HCL is the brand of the show, but what's Ryan's production company's name?
High stakes
Production. Yeah. Technically, Bally Live is a competitor of Ryan and High Stakes Production, but maybe he is allowed to freelance. Like, I'm still not sure how they're producing this. We know that last year GG brought in their own team from Korea,
Right.
and they orchestrated the whole thing, and it seemed to have gone off without a hitch. I believe PokerGo helped support that because I think Brent and Platt, if I'm not mistaken, were commentating.
That is correct.
I don't know if they helped them at all with like social leads and stuff like that, but I know that as of last year at least, PokerGo was still attached to WSOP. This is their final year being attached, so I don't know if PokerGo has any hand in this. If this is just strictly a GG WSOP decision, if Feldman and High Stakes Production will be involved, or if they'll bring in the team from Korea again to run their own live stream. None of these questions are probably very important to the audience. They just get a final product. But for us as insiders, I think it becomes important because it kind of starts to lay the landscape of how things are going to move in the next few years as GG continues to acquire more and more real estate within the poker space,
Right.
Looking to kind of execute on a bigger roadmap that extends beyond the WSOP live, the circuits, and the online arena. But yeah, I thought this was a very curious choice. It looks as though there's like 10 full events, 11 if you include the main, that happened post free roll.
They had a pretty big schedule last year as well. I was looking at it. It was looks pretty juicy.
And despite all of our like pushback of why this is such a terrible idea and the timing stinks, I think that they had a pretty good turnout. If I'm not mistaken,
They got it was like 326K for the Jessica Vierling won the main event.
Main event.
Yeah.
Do you remember what I assume it was probably pretty close, but it's a $2 million guarantee this year is probably the same. I would guess.
No, I don't have it up. Yeah, I'm not sure.
I mean, that would make sense. That's about 15-ish%, just shy of 20% of a $2 million prize pool.
I mean,
probably the same.
Probably the same.
It's a pretty good guarantee for a 1,700.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
All things considered.
They get a big turnout at all these things, especially in commerce.
What?
It was 2.2 million in the prize pool. I'm not sure what the guarantee.
Well, yeah, it doesn't really matter at that point.
Yeah, but commerce gets like a huge showings. You know, we've kind
of talked about this in the past. LA has a lot of support for MTTs, but they don't really have very well orchestrated circuits there.
Yeah, it's actually they're very spread out and very it's not friendly to anybody traveling for the most part.
Yeah.
Commerce actually did hire a tournament director. I think they stole Garden's tournament director. I think his name is Haven, I believe.
Because you snapped?
Yeah, because I fucking lost my goddamn mind.
Right.
You know, immediately 2 weeks after.
So you'll be there for this?
Somebody's hired, huh?
You'll be there for this then?
Maybe.
You're going to give us another boots on the ground review?
Maybe I won't lose my mind this time, hopefully.
All right. Do we know when what's the official first date of the World Series? Is it the 27th?
That was the date that was sticking in my mind, too.
I feel like it's always the 28th, but I don't know why I say that.
Either way, am I wrong to conclude that it's a lot closer to the end of this series than last year? Wasn't there like a week or 2 weeks?
Yeah. This ended on May 24th last year.
Same this year.
Oh yeah, no.
First event of the Mystery Millions is May 27th. Yeah.
Okay, so it's only 3 days. I mean, it's obviously like 10 days, no more, 2 weeks post TOC.
Mm-hmm.
So you're still kind of not nailing it, but like the Tournament of Champions last year ended on the 24th. You're saying?
Yes.
That was actually probably fine.
Yeah, but the problem is everybody that didn't qualify for the Tournament of Champions probably. It ended probably a few days before that.
Sure. But like, if you didn't qualify, you just chose to go play a circuit series. You didn't have to.
Yeah.
The big complaint was that like the people getting like the $1,700 in value to play the Tournament of Champions, on short notice had to fly like cross country, make reservations, figure everything out, and then come to Vegas for like some duration, which at the time I believe we thought was going to be longer than a couple days, before kicking off their WSOP summer. This is, I mean, look, I still don't think like the Commerce is necessarily the right venue for this, but this year feels differently than last, even though they're just now announcing it, because they didn't make the promise to keep it in Vegas the way that they had the year past.
Did they?
Yeah. It was announced.
Oh yeah.
It was announced way earlier in the season that it would be returning to Vegas, and then they rugged.
Yeah.
And decided to move to Commerce. I just like wonder what the relationship was between either WSOP, GG, or whoever that got Commerce in the mix.
I mean, they're just trying to, get into one of the biggest markets in the U.S. kind of, I assume. Like, it's just like, why not try to bolster one of your biggest rake spots?
No, I agree with wanting to have a footprint in LA. That makes a ton of sense.
Like,
taking like a marquee. I mean, it even makes sense now that like we had the expectation that it would be there.
Mm-hmm.
Last year's when it didn't make sense. That was like a very weird one. So I wonder like what happened in the talks where it was like, no, we should move this from Vegas to LA for sure. And we should do it at kind of like a poor time.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I would think just trying to capitalize on the market.
Yeah.
Like,
I will agree with you in the sense that like it doesn't help anybody except the players to have it in Vegas during the World Series.
Yeah, I agree.
Right? Because they're already here. So you're not getting any extra revenue for hotels and food and beverage. you're already staffed and running everything. So like you're not getting any additional rake that wouldn't otherwise be generated by regular WSOP events instead of circuit events. And because the World Series is in town, every venue is packed.
Right.
So it's not like some side venue like Planet Hollywood would suddenly just be like, oh, great, we get to host a series that we otherwise wouldn't have. It's like, no, they're just running some fucking, what was the Goliath or whatever the bullshit was that they ran for all those years where it was 13-handed. You remember that? They started a day 2 11-handed.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Who makes that fucking choice?
I don't fucking know.
I'm going to make the executive decision. We're out of tables here. We got to go 11. 11? Kick the fucking dealer out. Why don't we just high card and make it 10?
Yeah, right.
You've been eliminated, sir. You got to do this. I'm sorry.
So absurd.
Give your chips
I
up.
think you'd get a majority of the people that go for that.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah, take like the 3 shortest stacks at the table and be like, I'm sorry, one of you has to high card out.
Yep.
Just live with it.
Or just take a chip leader and make him an alternate.
Right.
Do something.
Yeah, do that. Just high card, and everybody who loses the high card, it becomes an alternate.
Yeah.
You know?
Who knows? Do
You don't
something.
blind out. You get to bring your chips in. Honestly, a lot of people, there's a lot of EV to that. If you made it day 2, let's say that there's like 20% of the field left, or even if they played to the money. Even better if they played to the money.
Mm-hmm.
Say you played to the money, and now all of a sudden they're like, oh man, we only have 20 tables, and there are 400 of you. This is a real problem.
That's a real problem.
What we're gonna have to do here is we're gonna have to high card.
It sounds so stupid, but like 11-handed somehow sounds stupider.
Way stupider. Way stupider. Here's the way you sell it to me. Like, look, here are the pros, here are the cons, okay? The upside, you're still going to be in the event after 200 people bust. That's great for you.
Yeah.
You're making money, baby. Just
Also,
sitting on the sidelines.
You don't have to sit on John's lap.
Right. The downside, you're not going to make any chips.
No.
So those 12 big blinds that you have now, when you get in 4 hours, they're going to be 2. But we can spin. We can spin, baby.
Yeah.
Don't even sweat it.
Yeah.
I would fucking be happy to high card out.
You would love that.
That'd be an 11-handed.
I'll just volunteer. I'd be like, I got a deuce.
11-handed sounds like the most miserable fucking
Call
thing
me when
ever.
my seat's open. Yeah, I don't.
So stupid.
Man, how do people do it? I'll never know. I'll never understand.
I don't think that stupid decision has been made since then, though. Anywhere.
Yeah, that feels like it was a one-off choice.
Right.
Yeah. That person probably got fired.
During the summer too. Like, I mean, obviously it's only going to happen during the summer because every place is packed. But like, woof.
You have 4 different locations as a fucking Bally's, whatever, fucking Planet Hollywood. Find somewhere. Find a basement to put everybody in. Do something.
You know, I don't know enough of how like
the logistics work out for that.
like how corporate works,
Yeah.
right? Like they're all Caesar's properties, of course, but they're individual to their own. The same way, like Aria, Bellagio, or MGM, stuff like that. But like at the end of the day, if push came to shove, I have a lot of confidence, especially like just knowing Sean and knowing that he oversees a lot of this stuff. I have a lot of confidence that if something like this were to occur, where it's like, hey man, we ran this event at the Aria and we did our damnedest, but we bagged too many people, and now we don't have enough tables. You think we could fill 5 tables at the Bellagio? I'm very confident they would figure that out.
Yeah.
Of course.
Now, granted, logistically, might be a bit of a nightmare to alert everybody, but like, okay, you deal
You
with
show up at Aria, you're like, oh, by the way, you're at Bellagio.
right. You deal with like herding people around for the first hour. Like maybe
Yeah.
you start the event a little late. You get as much out on social as you possibly can, whatever. But I do have a high degree of confidence that like they could figure out a way to coordinate this. And I'm really surprised that sister properties don't do more of this. You remember when we were first coming up, the Stations casinos?
Yeah.
They did these like free rolls.
They still do.
And so they would do them locally where you qualified. Like we would qualify like Red Rock or something, right? And if you made it to the next round, then I think, if I remember correctly, they would do like each week. Maybe it wasn't each week. Maybe it was like each day of the event was at a different location. Because I remember going to like places I've never been.
Like Texas Station.
Yeah. Yeah. Just like,
Yeah.
a place that I barely even knew was on the map. And it seems like it's a cool way to offer a bigger field to a more localized place. And you know, when you're on the strip or whatever, like it's kind of whatever. But I don't know, man. That idea is kind of cool to me. Of like it truly being a festival, and I to some degree, I guess it's already like that. Like you bust the WSOP, you speed up to the Venetian, you bust that, you run across the bridge to the win.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like that's a day in the life of a tournament grinder these days.
Yeah.
And you know, when I say that out loud, that doesn't sound pleasant at all.
You just like to be parked right at the Bellagio. You got a pile full of egg whites.
It'd be nice if I could just have like
bluffing rivers.
Yeah, just bluffing rivers away.
Sounds great.
That actually does sound fantastic.
Wait, the eggs or the bluffing?
A little bit of A, a little bit of B.
Mm-hmm.
Since we're on the conversation though, we're really rapidly approaching WSOP time. I mean, it's March Madness, Easter, and then we're fucking there.
2 months, man. 2 months.
You boys excited? Get your packages together?
I'm playing the bounty. For sure, I'm playing the $1 million mystery bounty.
Okay.
And depending on how much money I win in that, we'll see how the rest of the summer goes. Because that is right at the beginning, right?
It is right at the beginning. It's the first event. Yep.
Might even get me in there.
You know, I'm always excited for this.
You're not going to be in there.
Can I buy the day too?
Nothing excites me.
You have a
more
wedding
than
to go to,
WSOP.
Berk.
What I might do. I might do this.
Okay.
I might I might spend 2 days at the mystery bounty.
Okay.
Posted up at the treasure chest and just offer to buy bounties
That's sharp.
at like a little bit of markdown. You know?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you like to be guaranteed $3,000 right now?
Right.
Instead of risking the biscuit here,
Yeah.
you know? Maybe I get a crack at $1 million that way.
I kind of like this.
That is sharp.
Maybe I'll offer like
buy up all the.
maybe I'll do like an 80-20 split, you know? Be like, oh, you give me a 10% discount on the true value of this bounty. And I'll only buy 80% of it. You know, you can retain 20.
Right.
And you know, I'm good for it.
Yeah. Or like if you pluck the $1 million, then you give them like a certain percentage.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
The issue is that you got to get paid.
I was gonna say somebody's gonna scam me here.
They got to have the money right on them right there.
It's you got to fall into the cage.
Right. Yeah. Because you don't actually get to pick it.
Right.
Not like you can actually buy their ticket.
Right. Maybe I can have my lawyers draw something up. Because like Pads did this in the 10K, and it's easier there because everybody pretty much a high stakes player.
Right. Way less people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody's
knows
known.
each other.
Yeah.
Right.
You're not going to torch your rep on like agreeing to sell
Right.
your bounty for 10K and then pulling a 500K one and telling Pads to go fuck off.
Right.
But yeah, I don't want to. That's too expensive without as much upside. I want to pay like $1,500 to get a shot at $1 million. You know, I want to be the next Matt Glantz.
You're just gonna have to play.
I don't like that at all.
It's your only option, Berk. You're gonna have to play.
I don't like that one bit. Honestly, though, I'll tell you this: it's very smart of them to finally have a kickoff event like that.
Yeah.
That will pull in. Usually it's like a homecoming event or some bullshitty 500 where like you're only catering to recreationals. This one will pull in the regular pro as well. And the reason I say it's very smart of them is because it's still going to be an insanely soft field and there's a lot of prize money up for grabs. So if a guy like me jumps in there and has a good experience, I'll completely forget how hard all the other events are that I choose to play throughout the summer. True. And I'll have nothing but hopium for the next 6 weeks.
Yeah.
So I might just be, you know, getting picked up out of the fucking main game and saying like, all right, I'm going to sprint on over and play the 5K because somehow I have an edge in that.
Right.
I don't.
No.
Not at all.
I just fired.
I think they had an extra flight this year to the million.
If you make it to day 2, you're in the money. Is that right?
I believe so.
I think you
qualify for bounties for sure.
Definitely qualify for a bounty. I think you're in the money as well.
Yes.
I thought that was like the trade-off. You had to be
in the money. You have to be in the money
to for bounty.
So,
actually, no, that's not true.
In the secret bounty, that is not true.
Yeah, that isn't true.
However, it creates the most insane dynamic you've ever seen, where you're on a bubble, but playing for bounties. It's wild. It's my kind of tournament poker. Because it's like clearly there's a risk premium because we're nearing the bubble of a 10K, which means that you're going to earn
$11,000.
No, I think it's like 16 or 17,000 for a min cash.
Okay.
So 70% ROI right there. But each bounty at that point, prior to them being plucked, I think was worth something like 5K. I think like half the prize pool went to the bounty.
Okay.
Maybe 3K. Either way, it was like somewhere between like half and 70% of a min cash. So it's just like you have these two things completely at odds with one another. Where it's like when you're the short stack, you're doubly fucked. You have no fold equity because you're a bounty, and you don't want to bust because it's the bubble.
Yeah.
So it's like, what do you do? But on top of that, you're getting called way lighter, so you can like value appropriately, I guess. You know what I mean? Like
you can even kind of stretch.
Like on a normal, like Lamanna on the bubble of the main event with 6 blinds, like mucks queens in middle position, right? Yeah, and it's kind of the same thing. It's like you're getting called at a really high frequency because people have so many fucking chips.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, in this instance, it's kind of like you're getting called because
I also didn't open fold them. I mean, it was a raise in front of me.
Right. But you would have open folded. You would have jammed. Or you would have min raised and then folded.
God,
I would have jammed.
I wish we can recreate
folded
this.
To me.
Why?
I can't remember the exact situation.
What's the difference?
You were getting like a.
Well, I just wasn't that smart.
You were in for like
No,
$88.
I was smart enough to fold them to an open, but not smart enough to realize that I should just fold them.
No, I kind of agree with you.
There's just way more fold equity.
You have way more fold
right?
equity.
Yeah. I mean, I buy myself a whole nother round. If I do get called, I'm most likely a favorite. So like, yeah.
But yeah, like I think that I want to see tournaments. Oh, man, it's so tough. It's so tough because like, who was I recently talking to about this? I feel like it was in relation to the I'm blanking, ignition stuff.
What about it?
Where they have the bots or whatever that are like min cashing and things like that.
Oh, right.
I think there's just Brazilians, but go on.
Whatever.
Shout out to the Brazilians.
So I was talking to Hastings going back and forth, and or sorry, it ended with me talking to Hastings, but I was talking to somebody who originally posted. They put a screenshot up of like the same thing happening again, and I quote tweeted and said, just like, please stop playing here.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of replied and said like, fair, but I still think it's important to bring attention to, yada yada yada. And I said, yeah, I'm not like criticizing you for choosing to play there. Like, you're free to do as you wish. I'm not criticizing you for drawing attention to it or anything along those lines. But it seems as though the most obvious solution is the one that nobody wants to examine. And that's like, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
It's just not worth it to play there.
They want the option to exist without the cheating going on. So it's just like, if you just don't play there, then it's just one more option you don't have.
Right. But
right?
like,
You'd rather like
you just have to accept
fix the problem.
You just have to accept it's not fixable. It's falling on deaf ears. They're just absolutely not doing anything about it.
Yeah.
If anything, it's being encouraged. So this then dovetailed into me talking to Hastings because he posted another situation where it happened again. And I just replied and I said, like, I have to ask, and I'm not like being mean-spirited or trolling or anything. This is a very genuine question, but like, what drives you to continue to play there? Do you think that this cheating is either A, infrequent enough that it's not affecting your bottom line, or B, that your bottom line is so high that no amount of cheating can discourage you from playing there? And he kind of replied, and we went back and forth a little bit. He was like something along the lines of like, well, I still think Sundays are worth playing in the big fields, blah blah blah. And I was just like, yeah, I mean, from my perspective, and this is how I'm marrying it all together with like my viewpoint on tournaments. I was like, I'm of the impression that like general events online are pretty capped in their win rate anyway. When you add in droves of cheaters, particularly on the money bubble, where they're pulling out a lot of the prize pool always, if you think that you could have like a 50% ROI, which I assume is like pretty near the top in like a 215, something along those lines, it has to get like diluted down by all the cheating and colluding and everything else to maybe half of that or a third of that. So you're talking like somewhere between 10-20%. I was like, you're making like $20 or $30 every time you reg. Like, is it worth it? And he kind of just like, we basically agreed to disagree in the sense that he was like, well, I just think my ROI is a lot higher. Like, I think I can maintain upwards of 50% in the big field MTTs on Sunday. But he's like, I agree with you in like the smaller stuff on other days. And I was like, okay, that's totally fair. Like, completely fair. But what it illuminates to me is that you have to be heavily deluded into believing that you're able to post up numbers that mathematically don't seem to align any longer with true win rates.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, for a long time, pre-Black Friday, even somewhat post-Black Friday, there was so much recreational money in MTTs, and they were so unstudied that, you know, ROIs might have been in the hundreds very easily, right? But that we saw that very quickly regress to the mean. And a guy like Pads, who's a massive winner online, openly talks about having like 10 to 15% ROI in most of the events that he's playing, right? But he's able to get in decent volume at a pretty high stakes, where it's like maybe his ABI is like $1,200 or something like that. That becomes a little bit more worth it. When you frequent a site, though, that is actively cheating, like, you know, just blatantly turning the other cheek at cheaters, and you're trying to take home, like, let me give Brian the benefit of the doubt. Let's say he's making $105 on every 215 he registers on Sunday. It's like you're giving business to a site that doesn't give a fuck about you or its other consumers, and it's just like this total cesspool in our community to make a couple $100 every Sunday.
Yeah.
And I totally get that there's no other options, but what I'm beginning to understand, or at least I guess my dystopian viewpoint on it, is like, this feels like the path that MTTs are taking. One thing or another keeps lowering the player's ROI, right? Whether it's nefarious action taken by people who are edge seeking, or the format itself lending I guess support to people who study really hard and are able to accrue an edge that way, mixed with the structure maybe speeding up, or, you know, there's a lot of things that operators can do that level off ROIs. High rollers are a great example. You put a collection of really great players together and you give them a fast structure. Like, whoa, you're making literal pennies on the dollar.
Poker Go.
Yeah, Poker Go is a good example. Triton is a good example. Like, of course there are going to be outliers, but the volume that they're putting is relatively low. If we move that to online and they played 10,000 games a year, you'd probably see ROIs in the single digits, you know? And it's like, that's fine by them because they're putting in millions of dollars of volume.
Exactly.
So it's like having a take home on that is worth something. But I don't know, man. It's like MTTs are meant to be the loss leader in our industry. You know, they're the lottery. They're the shiny object for people to kind of chase. Mm-hmm. And maybe that's still true.
I think people still see it that way. A lot of people that play, right? They don't see it as like, oh, my ROI is this, and they're just like, I just see the number at the top, and that's what I'm trying to achieve.
Yeah.
Boy, do we love to chase it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's specifically the reason I'm playing the bounty. I mean,
right.
Yeah.
That's kind of the catch-22, right? It's like, I'm not even saying that they should go away or anything should change. As hard as I am about like disliking MTTs, I'm kind of playing a role here. Like, I truly think they're one of the best things that poker has going for it, especially as a marketing tool. It's the easiest, lowest barrier of entry to the game. It really does sell the dream good.
And the mystery bounty too is like specifically great for a recreational player, someone who thinks that like, oh man, I don't have a chance to like actually win the tournament,
right?
But I can get first place money as long as I can get to day 2 and pluck that bounty, right? Like I can get first place money without having the skill set to actually win the tournament. And it's a great selling point, I think.
I've done some decent amount of traveling in the past months, and that is probably the most frequently things said.
Really? Yeah.
I can't wait for the mystery
Yeah.
bounty.
Yeah, right.
Because I can win first place money
Mm-hmm.
without winning first place.
Yeah, so I guess that kind of like
Still hard. It's still
Of course,
hard.
it's still
I was looking at the structure sheet. I forgot how hard it is to actually make day 2. You have to play 22 levels on day 1.
yeah.
22 levels. So,
So
I
what
think that's
percentage
about,
of that is what
me.
percentage of the field is that?
about 5. About
Oh, wow.
5%. So you're well into the money.
You make the money.
So every
day one.
every flight makes the money, which is about 15%. I think 50% of the field, and then they play another third of or 2/3 of the field has to be eliminated after you make the money,
Right.
to get to day 2 where you can pluck bounties.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It's not easy, but if you do get to day 2, it's super valuable,
Right.
especially if you have some chips.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess like that just kind of all anchors the point of what I'm ultimately trying to make. And it's kind of, man, I don't know how to word this without like insulting people that play. I'm not trying to be an asshole here. Like I'm truly just kind of talking out
Comes
loud.
off naturally.
I'm just kind of talking out loud, and you know, it's just like MTTs to me are just like a marketing gadget that work out really well, and the more, you know, mystery bounties and things like that that bring in new players, the better. But to see it as a viable career seems like a complete fool's errand, and maybe I'm just like overlooking you know, some subtleties within the live realm where you get to be an outlier and it's not as random or lucky as it may appear. But that just doesn't seem to be the math that's mathing.
Yeah, I mean, if you took 1,000 players, right, and you have half of them tried to make it as an MTT player and half of them tried to make it as a cash game player, and you came back in 5 years, like which field would have more surviving? It's got to be
It's gotta be
cash, right?
cash.
Like with the variance that
Yeah.
exists
Yeah.
in MTTs.
Yeah, but I would think. Yeah,
But the ones that survive in the MTT might be richer.
Right, that was what I was gonna say. I
Right.
would think the outliers would be doing well
Right.
in the MTT realm.
Yeah.
Like,
There's a lot of people that play low stakes cash and they get stuck at 2.5 and
Yeah.
and they make a living and they're surviving and they're paying their bills, but they're not getting to the next step where they're actually making a lot of money.
Yeah.
Right? That's still a very small percentage of people that make it out of red chip hell, as you call it.
yeah, honestly, I might be looking at this the total wrong way. Poker might actually go in the exact opposite direction, where it's like, who cares if you can make a living at it or not? Because like maybe you can't even make a living at cash for the most part. We talked about survivorship bias and everything else. Like the vast majority of people are going to fail anyway. So it's like, if neither paths are super duper viable, like when I say viable, I mean like, you know, a quarter of the people who pursue it can do it to some level of profitability. If that's not the case, then of course the glory chase, the big scores, like all of the allure of MTTs is a way better tool to brand our game and build our community than cash games.
Yeah.
Cash game is just day one to day infinity is a grind. You know, it's just a grind, and if you're really lucky, like you'll be able to do it at higher and higher and higher stakes. But the skill set required to, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's probably a longer and deeper conversation than we have time for today,
Right.
but it does make me realize that, like, going all the way back to that conversation of like what requires more skill, cash or MTTs. I really do think it's an apples to oranges comparison. You know, we
For
talked
sure.
about how like the breadth of knowledge.
They require different skill sets.
Yeah, but I mean, you still need to know how to play poker for both. But like the wide array of knowledge necessary to navigate an MTT is so much more dynamic than the knowledge necessary to do well in cash. However, where you need a wide breadth of knowledge in MTTs, you need a wide breadth of skills in cash in order to succeed. So you might only need knowledge in like one very linear, singular focus kind of way in cash because it's very static. It's a 2 or 3 blind game. It's ante or no ante. Like there's very little that changes outside of depth. So you can just, you know, kind of robotically program your strategy in and do really well. However, that can't be your lone skill set because you'll die so quickly. You know, you'll just die in public game hell because the game's going private. So you need all of these other soft skills that are so critical that you don't need in MTTs. You never really need to bring a soft skill at all to the table in MTTs because nobody can ever shut you out. You don't need to be good for the game. You don't need to create a good game because the structure of the event itself just creates the game, right? Like good, bad, or indifferent doesn't really matter. You know, if you're at a table where no chips move, well, that's not that bad in ICM land. You know what I mean? Everything else. So it's like both of them require this large sense of being well-rounded, but the overlap is truly only chip EV poker, right? There's this tiny little sliver of an overlap where if you can play good chip EV poker, you're probably going to be able to at least break even in both worlds. But in order to succeed, you need widely different skill sets.
Yeah.
And it's never been more apparent to me than now. You know, like coming up, we just EV chased. You played tournaments, you played cash, you played PLO if you had to. Like wherever the softest game was, wherever the biggest fish were, you played it. But now, I don't think you could put me in a like I'm going to play that bounty. I don't think I'm like by any stretch of the imagination top 5% in that field. You know what I mean? There are like some mid-stakes grinders that play nothing but circuit events that are significantly better than me at MTTs. And it's not even close. And I have 20 years experience in this world. I've seen change time and time again. It's just I've put no energy or effort into all of those other subtleties that are required outside of just like playing good poker.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. That was a long tangent, I guess.
At least we can have a little last longer in this room.
Yeah. I'm more interested in a bounty
bigger
swap.
I'm more interested in a pluck bigger.
I would like to do a bounty swap. There's no skill involved there, and if one of you assholes makes $1 million, I would like my 3% cut. At least. Maybe 5. All right, that's going to do it for us today. I'm going to head on out to the Bellagio and see if I can maybe win my own mystery bounty.
Now we're talking.
We'll be back tomorrow for the final show of the week. We'll have a little bit of a catch-up on day 1 of March Madness. It's going to be impossible to avoid. I'm sure there's going to be some upsets. I hope everybody's enjoying these early games, and we'll see you guys all tomorrow.
Peace.
Later, squad.